Loupedeck Live S review. Loupedeck proclaimed that they're bringing a new incarnation into fruition featuring the best attributes of both pieces of equipment with some software developments to juice it all up. Examining the updated Loupedeck Live S has occupied most of my time this past month. Before we delve into all that deeply, let us formally unbox it and get a closer look. It carries the same marketplace and drivers and has precisely the same system. It simply has Razer written underneath. Recalling the time we commented on the Loupedeck Live S, we mentioned that we make use of the physical feedback of analog knobs to Burrow and Star Citizen. Playing that game requires you to fiddle with the laser's power and make sure it runs hot without triggering any accidents or destructive chain reactions. Undeniably, tuning with a physical knob brings me joy and happiness, and we doubt that will ever alter. Apart from gliding rapidly in a star-filled sky with Star Citizen, the realism of flight can also be extremely pleasurable. To achieve this, there is a plugin available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. You have the ability to personalize things like bringing down flaps, deploying the landing gear, and communicating with the tower. The knob can be utilized for trim if you're not using a purpose-made flight control system's trim wheel. Even though it's not what we enjoy doing most, there is a single-click installation of symbols and functionalities for Farming Simulator 2022. Very quickly we were able to gauge how more intricate the game is compared to a flight simulator. You can easily add support for any game, really. All you have to do is assign each button and then possibly attach an icon on the top part. With destinations such as Own3D.tv and Nerd or Die, you won't be short of options for graphics. At this moment, you can access 35 plugins, 4 sound collections, 38 stream overlays, 28 emotes and identifiers, and 10 backgrounds and styles from the Loupedeck market. Most of these are coming from third-party creators, something we will go over soon. It's unsurprising that plugins for Twitch Studio, VLC Player, and Razer Keylight Chroma are there right away when you start. Other ones include Streamlabs, Philips Hue devices, Twitch applications, Elgato Light controls, and OBS. We were excited to notice Voicemeeter. That software is a conventional virtual mixing board to independently direct all the different inputs and outputs on any device. Even if you don't stream, the Loupedeck Live S may still be useful for you. Working from home makes a hardware mute button and volume control invaluable. To make sure that an embarrassing burrito-induced belch remains private during your important business meeting, you can set up the icon to display a no icon. Joking aside, there are many Windows features that can be improved by being able to show outside of the OS. It is easy to program any button press, mouse click, or other functions and arrange it onto a button on the Loupedeck Live S. We have volume controls, camera switches, muting, the show desktop feature and flipping between different desktops mapped already. Going beyond that, we have varied programs which we use frequently mapped so that they can be operated with just a press of a button. The dynamic mode in Loupedeck devices permits it to take in and activate the buttons corresponding to that exact program when activated. Therefore you're allowed to switch immediately from Windows shortcuts to, for instance, DaVinci Resolve without having to mess around with menus or flips. At the end of the day, we were surprised at how easily we adapted to having more screen space by replacing the various dials and buttons. We thought we would have wished for more keyboards, but as there were only 2, along with a silicone shell around them, so we had all we needed. On the other hand, we were delighted by all of the additional viewing areas on my monitor. You can still slide between screens, and now you've got 15 slots for each one. If you wish to do so, you can reserve your typical 4 buttons for your preferred operations. This is also where Loupedeck Live S displays its greatest power.